Make it all right. Good afternoon, everybody. It is Coach Randy Byrd, and we're here for our weekly coaching call on Tuesdays. Thank you for being here, both live and the people that watch it after the fact. We get a lot of people that watch it and comment on some of the topics that we've had. So thank you for the love. We appreciate that. It is every single week here, Tuesday, 12:30 Pacific time at randybyrd.live. Super simple. And tell the others, like Johnny Depp would say, tell the others, right? So, anyway, we're going to share some tactics today for credit repair. The reason that this topic came up is I had a pretty good conversation with a lender this week, and I learned some things about credit repair that I thought were valuable and I'd like to share with you, as well as some of those subtle things that we could do to really help our own credit, matter of fact, right? Our own credit. By doing so, we can then help our clients very significantly. And by the way, I think this is a really nice add-on to equity value that you provide for your clients. If in the first conversations you say, hey, I care about you. I want you to get the best rates, the best terms, and not miss an opportunity. I'd like to give you some suggestions for things that you could do to improve your credit, boost your credit, and also some of the things to know along the way. So those are all pretty cool things that people will appreciate. So let me share my screen and see if you guys can see me okay. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes,
Thank you. And does it look big or does that look better?
looks
Okay.
better.
That looks
Better.
better. Okay, cool. So I can't see as much on the screen from you guys, but I'm gonna roll with it like this. Okay. So number one, credit repair for real estate agents, right? It's really for everybody, but I designed this around you today so you can understand some things that might be valuable for you. So it's educational only. I'm not giving legal, financial, or credit repair advice. I'm not smart enough to do that, right? I'm just a regular old guy, but I'm trying to bring you value, and it's up to you to look into it and see what's going on with the things that are going to benefit you. So, number two, soft pulls versus hard pulls. Who knows what that means without cheating and looking at the screen? What's that mean? Soft pull, hard pull.
One
Soft
affects your credit,
pull,
one
just
actually doesn't.
Okay, one at a time. Jeffrey,
I was gonna say one shows up on your credit as an inquiry and one doesn't.
perfect. So, who's available to do soft pulls? Like some examples.
Best Buy.
Yep. Um, Retailers, car loan people, credit unions, credit cards. There's an ability for them to do a soft pull that's not a true hard pull on your credit. A hard pull on your credit means it's going to stay on your credit as an inquiry for a particular amount of time. Could be a couple years that stays on there. And if you do a couple at a time, it can hurt you. Okay. So, a soft pull, no score impact is checking your own credit, by the way. You're allowed to do that. I'm going to teach you how to do that today and give you the directions and information for all three major credit bureaus as we go. Insurance quotes are another way. We just changed all of our insurance over to USAA military and really impressed, actually. They saved me like literally 50% over Geico, which kind of irritated me because I thought Geico, I've been with them 20 years. I thought Geico was one of the cheaper and more, more cost-effective companies, especially I had my homes, my cars, my in everything with them. And I found out that they were double the price of USAA. That's crazy. Now, USAA is military only, but it's a pretty open area, right? If your grandpa was in the military or if you're a family member, sisters. I mean, you have a lot of opportunities to join that. So I'm giving a big plug to USAA. I was shocked. But when I bought my house, my annual insurance premium was about 1,300 bucks. Over about 3 or 4 or 5 years, without me really watching it, just it went up, right? The cost of insurance is going up. Well, it was almost 3 grand a year. And so I went back and we found out that we got it back to prices that were equal to what we were paying 5 years ago by looking at another company, same exact coverage. Okay. So super valuable to look at that kind of stuff. Background checks. Why it matters, it's safe, right? You're not getting a score drop. By the way, Credit Karma and some of these things are doing these soft pulls all the time, so you can get this kind of credit score idea what's going on. But is that totally accurate? No, right? A soft pull is just that. It's not doing a hard inquiry. So that's why many times when you look and Credit Karma says you're at a 720, you go to apply for a loan, they do a hard credit and it comes back at 697. There could be a pretty good significant difference in those. So just understand that, okay? So safe, no score drop by doing these soft pulls. Really good to pay attention to that. A side note, there's a couple companies we use American Express Platinum and I pay for Equifax, which is like 20, maybe 20 bucks a month. And they're constantly monitoring and telling me every month, updating my FICO scores directly for all three. And they're watching if anything changes and they're sending me messages immediately, right? So like we're refinancing a truck right now. Rates have come down a little bit in the credit union world, and all my things lit up saying you had a hard inquiry, you had all these things going on in your credit. So it's good to have those things. Hard pulls are this, and by the way, hard pulls drop your credit 2 to 10 points per hard pull, and that's going to stay there for quite a while. It could be a couple years. Credit cards, any credit card you apply for has got to be a hard pull, right? There's some that say we'll do a soft pull and issue it on that. That is possible for them, but understand a credit card is a hard pull. Buying a couch at a store when your house is in escrow is probably a hard pull. That's going to be a problem for people if they're buying a house and they go in and they ding their credit by 10 points and miss an opportunity to get a certain rate. Right? I've seen that happen so many times. Obviously, auto loans and mortgage loans, why it matters, too many are a lender red flag. Even though it only drops 2 to 10 points, if they see that you're shopping for credit and your credit income to debt range is a little high, all those things start playing in. So you really want to be cautious of making hard pulls on your credit and just doing it just to get credit cards or whatever it may be. One thing that's really cool, and this is an advanced tip, mortgage pulls within a 2 week period count as one credit required or one credit inquiry. Okay. So what's cool about this is if you're shopping mortgages, you can go to B of A, Wells Fargo, the credit union, Rocket Mortgage. Don't ever do that. Just kidding. Rocket Mortgage. You could do all these things within 2 weeks, and it's considered only as one credit pool because they know you're shopping the market. That's not the same for auto loans and some of the credit card things. If you're shopping credit cards and they're pulling your credit, they're all individual credit pools and they can impact you negatively. Okay. So, next thing, fast score boosters. And we record this, by the way. This will all be back at you and YouTube and stuff. So, if you want to go back to it, but fast score boosters, simple explanations, utilization stacking, paying cards 2 to 7% before the statement date. It's the biggest score mover. I didn't know this till recently, right? So if your credit card's due coming up on the 20th and you could pay 2 to 7% more than the required minimum payment or whatever that may be, and you pay it early, that moves your score significantly rather than obviously waiting and paying minimum balances and all the things, right? So that's something that could become a strategy for you. Requesting credit line increases, CLIs, right? As the bank to ask the bank to raise your credit limit every 90 days. A lot of people don't realize that. And show of hands, who's asked the bank to increase their credit lines even once in the last year? All right, I got half the people. Did you know you can ask every 90 days? They could say no, but the likelihood of them bumping these things up are good for you. And if you don't say anything, it could sit there at that balance for the next 2 or 3 years. By the way, let's just use an example. $10,000 credit card limit, you owe 3 grand. That's good. You're under the 30% of credit card usage on that particular card. You want it over the whole portfolio of credit available to you under that 30% is kind of a key marker. But let's just say $10,000 card, you have 3,000 that you're using, you're at a 30% of credit utilization, correct? What happens in 90 days if you increase that credit to 12 grand and your balance is still 3? Your credit utilization has dropped down to 23 or 22%. It helps a lot, right? So if you're making payments on time, paying a little bit early, asking for this credit limit every 90 days could be valuable. Debbie, do you have a question about this? Okay, your hand's up. No problem. Okay, so higher limit, lower utilization, higher score, period. And that's the simple math there. So you could either lower the amount of credit you're using on those particular cards, or you could use the strategy of increasing your balances over time to make that utilization smaller. A big factor with buying mortgages is your credit card utilization numbers. It's a big factor, right? So if somebody's got a 50% credit card utilization, they've got a total of 30,000 of available credit cards and they've used 15,000 of it. It's not good when they're evaluating your mortgage repayment ability. Okay. So I dig it. And then add a no use card. Open a card you barely use to expand available credit. We have several cards that have zero balances and we keep them for like flips. And, we might have $40,000 worth of credit cards that have zero balance. A lot of people go, well, I'm going to shut those off because I might be paying a little $89 a year fee or whatever it is. It's increasing your utilization value. It's also shows zero balance, which is good. And the length of the time, it might be in another slide, but the length of the time that you have that open account with good history all benefits your FICO score and the way that these algorithms work in that. Okay. So it's okay to have a couple credit cards that are at zero balance, and keeping those are valuable depending on both emergencies and emergency funds, looking at it that way, or if you get a specific project. And as contractor, we always needed to have a pretty good credit line available to us. Okay. Okay. Authorized user boost, adding someone as an authorized user on a long, clean credit card can boost score 30 to 90 points. That's a pretty big number. If you're looking at the FICO score, like a perfect FICO score, anybody know what that number is of the absolute highest FICO score you can get?
Yeah, an 850.
What is it?
850.
I think it's actually a little higher than I could be wrong.
9.
I think it's 900.
Yeah.
So I heard it's 900. I had a FICO at one time of like recently that was like 843 or something. So it was way up there. Now it's like I think we just pulled it for this and it was like 793. And I looked and it was because utilization. We put the taxes on our credit card for mileage, paid it off, but for a month it dropped my points down over 50 FICO points in a 30-day period because it showed that I used a bunch of credit, right? But I paid my taxes. All of that's good. Now you thought mileage would be a good thing. But again, you got to plan those things out. So it could be valuable to put an authorized user on the card, and then it could boost your score significantly. Another opportunity, if you have children, is to get a card in their name, right? One of the greatest things I did with the kids is I gave them each an American Express card for an emergency. We pay it off for every month, so there's no surprises. And we said, this is an emergency, right? You could use it in an emergency, but just by putting it in their name, increase their scores because they have an authorized card that's got a lot of usage and their names associated with it. It pulls up on their credit report as them having an American Express, which has long been believed to be kind of the cat's meow of the credit cards, right? If you have an American Express, Platinum card, or any of the other gold cards and so on, it's considered the highest level of credit, if you will. At least I've been told that. Okay. So what they get is account aging, right? They get a good payment history because you're making the payments, and a low utilization. Best people's spouse, parents, family member, trusted partners in business. That sometimes comes up. And then avoid buying AU trade lines online. Lenders flag them. Okay. So some ideas that you can use to boost your credit. Okay.
Randy, what is AUs?
I don't know. I don't remember actually. Somebody want to Google it? AU trade lines. I had it in my head a few minutes ago and I forgot it.
What
This
is
is
Let's do
authorized
AU trade
user
line?
trade lines.
authorized user, I think, right?
Yep. Authorized
Authorized
user
user
trade line.
trade lines. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. I knew we could Google ourselves into success here. So, next slide. So, removing the score killers, hard inquiry removal. If client didn't authorize the pool, dispute it with the bureau, right? That happens a lot. True story. The reason all this came up, actually, I'll give you the honest truth. We applied, well, we didn't apply. We went through to get new cell phones. I've been with Verizon for 20 years, whatever, right? Not going to get into bashing Verizon, but it was time for a change. And we started looking, and it's usually because of customer service with me, right? It's not service, it's not the cell phone color, it's not the towers, it's customer service. And so we decided to move to AT&T. We looked at another carrier my son worked at. We went with AT&T. Met with him for an hour. Went through, this is the phone we want, this is the plan we want, these are the numbers we're going to port. Did all this stuff. At the very end, he goes, okay, we're just going to do a soft pull on your credit. I go, no problem, soft pulls. I understand what that means. So they did a soft pull and they came back and they go, oh, we're sorry, you're denied. Now I told you, I know my FICO. It was 787 at the time. That couldn't have been it. My
Wow.
job's longevity wise been EXP 9 years, all these things, right? I go, this makes no sense. So what happened is when they got to the point where they're validating me, the AT&T rep took me to a third party that validates my credit score and my information. And they asked me like 4 questions, and I'm not kidding, these were the questions. Which car have you owned? Was it a Prius? Was it a Saturn? Was it a it was some off the like literally like a 72 Pinto, or was it a something else? And I'm like, or none of the above. That was the fifth answer. I said, none of the above. And they go, totally normal. None of the above's normal. Next question, which plane have you owned? I've never owned a plane. So they listed like Bombardier 227, this, that. They went through I go, none of the above. And they go, totally normal. They asked me 4 questions that were none of the above. And I go, this is not normal. I've done this before. They ask you 4 addresses. You got to pick yours. They ask you what your first, bank loan was. Something's wrong. So at the end of it, they declined me. Well, they have something wrong in their system because I get my credit reports all the time. I know what's on them. I'm very conscientious about this. AT&T's got a problem. So I reached out to him and I said, something's wrong, but it's hard stop, right? Because it flagged, it is a hard stop. We cannot get new cell phones from AT&T, which is a bad business decision on their point, but that's what brought all this up. I ordered all 3 credit bureaus, nothing's showing up inaccurate. So sometimes there's just something wonky in the system, but I'm going through the process. But how much effort am I going to, as a consumer, go to fight AT&T to beg them to take my business and my $300 or $400 a month cell phone bill? It's like zero point 0.0, right? But you could see the value of having your information correct and knowing what's going on. So I'm disputing it, but the credit bureaus are saying there's nothing to dispute. There's nothing wrong on our side, right? So I'm just letting you know. You could call them and say I did not give permission for this inquiry, and they have to challenge it, and then they have to respond within 30 days to prove that you actually did ask for that inquiry and then they did it correctly. A real key time frame for credit is 30 days. Remember that, write it down, 30 days. If you dispute something, they have 30 calendar days to respond or remove it. It's just black and white. If they don't respond and validate it within 30 days, it has to be removed. So back in the short sale days, we were doing a lot of this kind of maneuvering around, right? So if you, let's just say you want to be creative and you dispute an inquiry on December 7th, and you know they're going to be off during Christmas for 3 or 4 days. You know they're going to be off at New Year's for 3 or 4 days. You know that there's probably a week of downtime for many employees in between that period of time. Do you see how December 7th to January 7th could be a very impactful time frame for you to put in a dispute and hoping that that 30 days winds out to be a challenge for them, right? Because they've got to reach out to the vendors. The vendors have to reply. All this has to be validated within 30 days, or your rights are, it has to be removed. It doesn't matter if it was good, bad, or indifferent, right? So there's some timelines that are very much in your favor for these strategies. By the way, don't just pay. If you have a collection on your thing, there's a collection strategy. Don't just pay, negotiate to pay for delete so it disappears. Do you know you can do that? If you have a bill for $400 at the hospital or whatever happened and you dispute it, if you just fight with it and you just put your head in the sand, they're going to go to collections. It's a lot harder to get to that point. If you have a collection on your record, don't just pay it. You can negotiate it down, or you can negotiate it down and or have it deleted from your record. Now, many of them will tell you, and I've done this from experience, many of them will tell you, we can't delete it by law. That is crap. There's always reasons that things are there inaccurately or otherwise. They have the power to delete it, regardless what they tell you. Credit
Also,
bureaus,
Randy,
yes?
you can ask for an itemized statement, and a lot of times you can talk that bill down in the
Yeah,
itemized statement.
yeah,
First
100%.
thing to do, right
So
there.
don't just give up on this. Like
Yep.
you have to have some tenacity and go through this.
Yep.
But think about this is make sure number one, you get your 3 reports that I'm gonna give you the numbers on in a few minutes. Make sure you order those. They're free. You're allowed to do that every so months and get a free report, no questions. Or if you get denied credit, you get a report again for free, even if you've asked for one in the past. So paying these things and getting them off your credit report could be very significant. Another thing that people don't realize is employers pull your credit. If you're applying for a corporate position or a position that's a W-2, your credit could very much come into play. So little collections could skew their belief in your ability to manage finances, especially if you're applying for something that has financial implications, right? So all these things are really, really important. They have to verify the loans. They have to verify when it was paid late, when your payments happened. They have to communicate with the third party to do that. Most collection agencies buy debt at a discount. So they're not the ones that know anything about it. They've got to go back to somebody else. So when you dispute it, it goes through multiple hands of people that have to validate that basically. So method of verification, MOV. Okay. And then also you could ask the Bureau, how did you verify this account? If they can't prove it, they must delete it. That's a big deal. And by the way, can you dispute things 3 or 4 or 5 times in different ways? Yep. Every time they have to open up an inquiry, they might get sick of you, but again, it's within your rights. Okay. So, last slide, and then we will take a couple questions. So, quick boost tools and credit bureaus, tools that work. Credit Builder Loan, Kickoff, Experian Boost, 2 new small limit cards. Use 1 to 3%. That's a way to boost your credit. Experian Boost, that's a service that they provide for a fee that they do some things for you to boost your credit scores. I've heard it works well. Kickoff's another version of that. You could do your credit builder loans that you could take out and pay on purpose. So you can, like when we go to Les Schwab or something, we could easily put it on our account and pay it off, but we'll leave it on there for a few months just so it shows that we're making accurate monthly payments and then pay it off. So the longevity of it and you're showing the history of the payments. Okay. And then I want you to write these numbers down. These are the 3 numbers for the bureaus. It'll take you less than 5 to 10 minutes per bureau to call them. And you're going to probably go through an automated thing that says, what are you trying to do? Dispute something or something. And you could just say, I want a copy of my credit report. They'll send them to you for free. They might try to sell you into some credit watch or something for $29.95. You're entitled to a free report. And I would do it with all 3 because it's important. Most lenders, especially mortgage lenders, they look at a blend of multiple credit reporting agencies. It's not usually just one that they go to. Some lean heavy on some, like my credit union, it's all about Experian. That's all they use. So my TransUnion could be 850 and my Experian 750. They're lending based on 750. Okay. So that's it. Everybody get those numbers. I'm going to leave them on the screen for a minute. But I want to make sure I answer any questions, and hopefully this has helped you both for yourself to pull these credit reports and find out what's going on with your own credit. We're speaking from experience because I was so pissed when AT&T told me I couldn't even buy a cell phone. I was like, okay, I can buy houses, I can't buy a cell phone. Something's not right here, right? But anyway, I get off my soapbox right now. So, any questions about credit? Anything that comes up for you, Debbie?
Yeah, Randy. What happens if I have a friend that's disputed charges? Her ex had used her social security number and she's disputed it, and they're still saying that she owes these credit cards, and she's never, ever had a credit card ever.
So that
What's the
automatically
next
it
step?
sounds like something's wrong, right? So she's got to go to the distance of proving that that wasn't hers, proving that she didn't sign up for that credit card. That they have to actually, the burden of proof is on them. They have to prove that she did, and if they cannot, it can be removed.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
but we're not experts. So if she
right,
runs into that roadblock where she's done all this, it's not
right.
working, I'd hire an attorney to fight this
Okay.
for her. There are credit repair attorneys that are inexpensive. There are free credit repair attorneys that are advocates, both state funded, federally funded, government, VA, all kinds of different ways to get help with this. And then I would put preservation into place, meaning that I would get a credit watch company for her that watches her credit to make sure this doesn't happen again. But if she was married and they have a legal obligation together, if he
Right,
takes out credit, it affects her, and there's no way to get around that.
right, right. Yeah, I used to do high-end collections, so I know that part, but
There
I
you go.
just
There you
want,
go.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure if there was an attorney that could get a hold of here in Oregon
I don't
somewhere.
know of one, but there, of course, there are. Right, that's all
Okay,
they specialize in is credit repair and things like that. So
perfect.
you could certainly do a lot of this stuff with ChatGPT now, you know. But if
Oh,
that didn't work, I would then get an attorney because it's important, right?
yes.
I can tell you so many people have applied for positions or jobs, and then they get this crazy thing that's on their credit that's not right. There's
Oh,
a Randy
yeah.
Byrd in Texas. I've never been to Texas at the time 10 years ago when this came up. 10 or 15 years ago, I was buying a house. They go, "Oh, you have a credit, you have a collection on your record." I'm like, "Negative." "Yeah, it's in Texas." I'm like, "Never been to Texas." "Well, your address is in Texas." I go, "Yeah, it's not in Texas, right? I've never been to Texas." And lo and behold, it was a Randall R. Byrd in Texas, different social, different address, different everything, but it got associated with my credit report, and it was a nightmare to get him removed from my credit report.
Isn't that
Okay.
ridiculous?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
again,
I have one other
things
question.
happen.
Did you ever get to AT&T? Because I've been thinking about leaving Verizon myself.
I don't want to get into Verizon and
Oh,
AT&T,
sorry.
but it's okay. I said enough probably already,
Oh,
but
yeah,
we're just
sorry.
at the end of our time, and
Yep, yep, yep.
yeah, we're
No
still
problem.
we're still looking to get new phones. They had a thing where they paid off your phone and gave you the brand new iPhone 17 and all the things that sounded appealing.
Right,
So they're working on it. AT&T realized I showed them my credit report, and they're like, something's wrong. So,
right.
but
Okay.
anyway, yeah, no worries.
Just curious. Just curious.
It's all good. So
Yep. Thank you.
yeah, you bet. Thank you everybody for being here. Any other questions about credit before we wrap up? And again, make sure you write down these numbers. Make sure you put it on your calendar to call them and say, "I want to get copies of my credit report." And then when you get those, you're welcome to call back and dispute anything that comes up on there, either through the phone system or you could do it online and dispute them. And then again, it's a 30-day clock. So if you're creative, I would do it around December 7th personally, December 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, because that's a couple big holidays in there and it knocks that 30 days down to about 17 days really quick. Okay.
Very good.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Again, we kind of handle different topics every week. Last week we did AI. This week we're doing credit repair. So we try to make it valuable for you. It's usually real estate related, but I think this very much aligns with what we do in real estate. So thank you for being here. I see a couple new faces. Appreciate you. And anything we could do to support you, we're here every single week. All right.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you, Randy.
You bet. Thanks everybody
Thanks
for
so
being
much.
here. Have a great week and go crush it. See you
All
for
right.
now.